It's good to see you folks and welcome back. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Les and Les Aria. I'm a pain psychologist. And how's about we just hop right to it. So the topic for today is about breath. And I want to show you how it's so vital and the science behind it. And then we're going to practice it. And then we'll get started here. But let's do a quick experiment here. I want you guys to do this. I want you to go ahead and do exactly as I do. You guys ready? All right, here we go. I'd like you to make sure you pinch your nose. Take a breath. Now cover your mouth. Now keep doing that. And then when you can no longer hold your breath, go ahead and let it out. But just keep holding your breath as long as you can. We got some deep sea divers here. Wow, impressive. No cheating, Teresa. You can't breathe out through your mouth. Good. And when you're done, like I said, and you can no longer stand it, go ahead and breathe out. Thank you, Anna. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Lisa is doing a good job there. You guys like deep sea divers. So good. So let's stop. Let's pause here for a second. What did you learn about that? Or what was goofy about that? What did you, the good, the bad, the ugly? What did you experience in just doing that? Was it pleasant? Was it joyful? What was it? Jackie, what about you, dear? What did you experience? Just plugging that, as obvious as it might seem.
You're muted, Jackie.
Point in case. We never realize how important a body part is, or even breath is, until we don't have it. And so the message that how I was taught was this, is we take this breath for granted. And what I want you to share with you is this, is just to do a little science, and then we'll do a practice here. Since this group, we have some new beginners and some people who have been meditating for a while. I want you to understand this, is we don't think much about the breath because it comes from the most primitive part of our brain, the animal brain, and also the limbic system. It connects it. Did you know that only about 2 or 3 years ago they discovered that when you actually, check this out, when you actually, and do this with me as I'm going to practice with you, go ahead and take a breath in, pause for about 3 seconds. And then as you breathe out, see if you can breathe out for as long as you can. Do that one more time. Take a breath in, pause for about 3 seconds, and then breathe out as long as you can. So what they found out in what you're just experiencing, it, when you actually pause and then have a long exhale, it actually deactivates the most primitive parts of your brain. And the primitive parts of your brain, this part of the brain, where all the emotions are and where your pain center is. So pain becomes a habit once it becomes chronic. And for what it's worth here, when you're breathing out, it actually is like getting off the gas pedal and putting on the brakes. And you see a decrease. They learned that when you actually shift into a long out breath, it's like putting a wet blanket around the amygdala, which is freaking out. It just dampens it. They found this out only why we've known that the breath is important, but no one has really shown that it actually decreases the amygdala. The amygdala is the big as your thumbnail. It's inside your ear. It's the smoke detector in your brain. So it's the part that says danger. So when you were holding your breath, and I think Ken, you said it was like fear. Yeah, that's the same thing I experienced the first time I did this. Was I felt my heart pounding. Your amygdala says danger, 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 and then sends it to all the parts of the brain, and we cannot quite think right. So what I want to leave you with is this, and then take any questions and comments, is one of the most efficient way to actually down-regulate your nervous system. Let's just say you're having a flare-up. Let's just say you have severe negative thoughts. Let's just say you, for whatever reason, I like to call it suffering, is when we add mental scripts to whatever's going on in our life. Our thoughts, our pain, we're just hooked and we're hijacked by something overwhelming. When you're doing that and you know that, your breath can actually deactivate those parts. So whenever my patients or family members, kids, doesn't matter, when you feel overwhelmed, what is the reason or what are the reasons when we know what to do, but at the worst moment, when we have an emotional flare-up, I'll give you an emotional flare-up. Emotional flare-up is when someone says something offensive and you're like, oh yeah, well, let me tell you, and then we start spewing things. That's an emotional flare-up. And now you just heard this. You're going to be feeling great when you leave here. You go home, you go, wherever you are, you go about. But then the next moment you get a text, you get a phone call, you step out to the grocery store, you do something, and someone offends you, and all of a sudden you're in this flare-up. And when you're in this flare-up, it's almost like we forget everything we were taught just a few seconds ago. So the question I'm asking you is, whether it's physical or emotional, what is the mechanism that stops us from remembering that? Why do we? Marla said automatic. Yes. What are some other reasons? Why is that we do not practice what we know is helpful to us? Emotional flare up, you get all of a sudden offended, or you get this sharp pain and you're like, what is this? Or why is my shoulder? And we'll blame it on the functionality. It's because I was lifting this. But what's really interesting is even after you put the object down, why is it still hurting? And so what I want you to understand is, when you really learn modern pain science, and this is what the world is shifting into, when you learn modern pain science, they're going to let you know and realize that when pain becomes chronic, it is more about the nervous system, and the nervous system is all about habits. So when you feel this knee-jerk reaction of getting defensive, even though you might practice spirituality, meditation, you do yoga and all these fancy things, you're a good person. But when we get an emotional flare or we get depressive thoughts or sad thoughts or whatever it is, what happens is this: we get mad at ourselves that why did we react this way? We feel like we don't have control. And Anna, you nailed it. I want you to understand this. Whether it's mental health or your physical health, which means your physical pain, when something becomes chronic, it is no longer about that particular issue. It's the nervous system. And once the nervous system learns to be protective, that's what it does. It creates a habit. And so what we want to learn is we want to reshape. I'm going to use my mentor's words, Stephen Porges. I want you to learn to retune your nervous system. And the only way for us to do this is practice does not make perfection. Practice in the nervous system and the brain makes permanence. Let me pause you for a second, take comments and feedback, and then just go straight into our meditation. Does that make some sense? So does that make some sense? Yeah? Good.
Yes.
Good. Because one of the things I used to get mad at myself is I meditate, I have a deep spiritual practice, I love CrossFit, I love doing a bunch of things. And then when my pain, I'll have a mini flare up. Maybe I was irritated about something, I was too tense in a meeting. I say to myself, like, I'm this person that teaches all this stuff. Why is it happening? Because my nervous system picked up something that was dangerous. It felt like maybe I offended someone, or maybe I'm not working hard enough. What I want you to know is, when your nervous system takes a hold of you, one of the ways to unhijack your nervous system, emotionally or physically, is your breath. So think of the breath as your remote control. The more you do it, and whatever you practice, it becomes permanent. Let's go ahead and do the breath meditation here. And for those of you who've been practicing it, you can use your style. But let me walk, we have some newcomers here. Let me walk you through 3 steps. And I'm just going to verbally give it to you, and then I'm going to walk you through it. So the 3 steps to simplify mindfulness meditation is this: is 1, we want to ground ourselves. And a great way to do that would be a counting breath. You can do it a variety of ways. But how I like to do it is to calm the front part of my brain down and my nervous system down, is to give it something to do. And so we're going to do something called a counting breath. A counting breath is something like this. I'm going to instruct you, but you will go at your own pace. So I'm still talking, we're not practicing yet. So when you breathe in through your nose, you're going to do 2 things. You're going to breathe in, feel the sensation of that in-breath. That's the first thing you'll be doing. And the second thing you'll be doing every time you're breathing in is you're going to say in, I-N. So you're going to do 2 specific things. So we're really going to tune the front part of our brain down. We're going to focus on nervous system down. We're taking the remote control back. Oh, that was for you, Marla.
Thank you.
Very well. When you breathe in, you're going to say, you're going to feel the sensation of the breath, and then you're going to say in.
In.
Good. And then as you breathe out, you're going to breathe out through your softly pursed lips. Research shows that when you breathe out through your pursed lips, you activate and deactivate parts of your brain that are helpful. You deactivate your limbic system and you activate the front part, which you tend to see clearly. All right? So slow, long, sinking breath in. You're going to do two things. When you breathe out, you're going to say a number. You're going to say 1. And you're going to feel that sinking, melting, letting go breath. The breath is to be long, elongated, sinking, and releasing. So let me repeat that again. Every time we do this, you will hear me say in, then breathe in, and I want you to feel and say. As you breathe out, I want you to feel the out breath and say 1. And the next breath, you're going to say 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10. Questions? Make sense? I'll be guiding you, don't sweat it. And you will hear me say, go at your own pace. Because sometimes you want to breathe faster and then out faster. That's absolutely fine. Just wait for us at the door when we get there. That's
We're
step
saying that in our head or out loud?
Great question. Thank you, Teresa. You will say it quiet. You're going to hear me say it out loud, but I want you to say it, what we call a mental note in meditation. You can make a soft whisper in your head. Indoor voice, as they say in kindergarten, right? So I'll guide you through. Great question, Teresa. So as you breathe out, you're going to say 1. You're going to do that at the next breath. You're going to say 2. So every time we breathe out, you're going to go up 1 number. Okay? We're just going to do that. The second step we will do is I'll ask you to find where you notice the breath in the body. And there are multiple places people feel the breath in the body, but the 2 most common one is basically the nose and then the belly. And when you find your breath, you're like, oh, I kind of noticed the breath in my nose. Then I want you, I'll instruct you. When you breathe in, you will say in every time you breathe in. And then when you breathe out, you'll make a soft mental note. And to take from what Teresa just asked, you're always going to make a soft, quiet whisper in your head. In, out, in, out. That's all you're going to do. The purpose we do that is to help you. It's a mantra to keep you focused in the present moment. Cool? If you're like me, I feel the breath in the belly. And so if you feel the breath in the belly, when I get to that part, you're going to say belly rising, belly falling. That's it. Cool? The third part, and then we're all done. And the reason I do this is because there's so many different styles. And this style was taught to me to keep it very simple and direct. So there's a sense of sequence when we do this. So with or without an app, you can do this. Okay? The third instruction, and then we're all done, is this. When your mind takes you away from wherever you feel the breath, I want you to basically have a couple of options. Here's the first option. You're sitting there meditating, your mind says, grocery list, send that email, pay that bill, or maybe you start to feel anxious in your chest. What I want you to do is basically say something like this, thank you, in a very kind tone, just like someone knocked on the door. Someone hands you a sheet of paper, you're like, thanks. Not sarcastic. Don't go like, yeah, thank you. You're talking to your mind. It's like a child. Say, thank you, hun, and come back to your breath. That's it. That's one option, is to simply say thank you, not for the interruption, but acknowledging it. I got you. I hear you. Thank you. So it's a kind way. Second option is basically to say not breath, N-O-T. You're basically saying all of this going on, you're like, not breath. That means come back. It's just a reminder for you to come back, all right? And here's my one, which I like to use. I just basically, if you see me in meditation, I'll basically do this. You'll see me nod, which basically means I'm like, yeah, got you, thank you. Do not be sarcastic. It's done with a compassionate voice. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. All right, so here are the basic. Uncross your hands, uncross your legs. Sit up in a dignified yet comfortable position. Good. Now, you can have your eyes closed or open. And when we get to the number 10, if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes then too. So you have a choice of closing your eyes now or not. Now, what I'd like you to do here is, as we get settled in, I want you to sit and know that you're sitting. So what I want you to do is I want you to feel your feet, your toes, Then I want you to notice the seat that's cradling you. Just notice what's supporting you. And as you work your way up, I want you to notice your whole body, the weight of your body resting there. Just notice your whole body just resting there, the weight of your body. And whenever you're ready, we're going to take the nice breath in. As you breathe in, quietly say in. And as you breathe out, quietly say 1. Next breath in, 2. Go at your own pace. Next breath in, 3. In, 4. In, 5. In, 6. In, 7. In, 8. In, 9. In, 10. Closing your eyes, dropping your shoulders, feeling the next breath out, sinking, melting, letting those shoulders all the way down. Now, as you continue to allow your mind to come back into your body, you might notice that you're breathing. Notice where you feel the breath in the body. You feel the breath at the nose, and if you do, quietly make a soft mental note of in as you breathe in. As you breathe out through your softly pursed lips, say out. In and out. But if you notice the breath at the belly, quietly make a soft mental note of belly rising, belly falling, belly rising, belly falling, over and over again. Just simply focus on where you feel the breath in the body. Just connecting with the flow and sensation of your breath. Again, there's no need to do anything else except enjoy this present moment. Just feel the sensation and flow without much effort. And then the next breath, see if you can just drop your shoulders down just a little bit. Let gravity just melt those shoulders all the way down. And continue to focus on where you feel the breath in the body. And at any point, if your mind takes you away from the flow and sensation of your breath, I want you to wear half a smile, thank your mind, and redirect your attention to where you feel the breath in the body. Simply begin again. Again, there's nothing else for you to do. Just watching that in-breath, and then just watching the out-breath as it leaves. Again, making that soft mental note just to help you stay focused in the present in a soft, kind tone of voice. And again, if you get restless or you feel like there's an itch, it's okay to go ahead and move, but before you move, know that you're moving. Know that your mind is distracting you. Simply smile and then do as you need to do. Simply coming back to your breath. And if it helps, you could also make another alternative way to redirect your thoughts. Simply say not breath anytime you get distracted with a thought, a memory, an emotion, a sensation, a sound. Always wear a smile and come on back, saying not breath, then reconnect with your breath again. And if you can, try this. Go ahead and release those mantras in, out, of belly rising, belly falling. Go ahead and release those mantras and just watch your breath right now without any of those words. Just watching your in-breath all the way in and watching the breath all the way out. Just do that for the next few breaths to see what it feels like without those soft mental notes. If something takes you away, like a sound, a sensation, simply smile and say, not breath, and gently come back with compassion to where you feel the breath in the body. Then returning to those soft mental notes, not trying to push out anything away, but just welcoming anything that shows up. And as we continue this, see if you can turn your hands, your palms facing up. Whenever we meditate, the mind does wander, and turning your palms up, facing up, is what we call willing hands. Letting things come if you will, stay if you will, leave if you will. Not trying to fight anything, just focusing on the flow and sensation of the breath. And wherever you are, take a nice full breath in, hold it at the top. And as you breathe out, gently open your eyes. And before you move around, just open your eyes here. Just noticing your whole body, taking another breath or two, feeling your whole body. Breathe. This ends the meditation. It's a misnomer that people believe when you meditate, you clear your mind. There is no such thing. Brain science proves it. Even the monks, just to let you know, and I've mentioned this before, I think with some of the others who were here before, when you act, even monks who meditate for 4 hours straight, 4 hours minimum, what they notice is they did this at University of Wisconsin with Richie Davidson's lab, world famous, and basically he found out that when a monk meditates, these are very experienced meditators, they found out that there are thoughts. You're never absence of thoughts unless you're dead. What they do notice is just like a heartbeat, boop, they can measure the brain waves. The space in between is what gives the impression of clear mind. So, but we always have thinking. And so what you will do is, as you continue to practice this, it actually deregulates the part of your brain that says, that part of your brain, the amygdala, or the emotional part of the brain that's always trying to be protective and reactive. When you meditate and you give this a chance, I was talking to Teresa earlier on, we have some science to show that when people meditate an accumulated of 20 consecutive hours, that they notice the shrinking of the smoke detector. That is why meditation works. It's not so much it's anything special, but you do the work, get the results. But we want to start small and be consistent. It's like boiling water. You don't boil water once in a while, but if you want the water to boil, it requires a consistency of practice. What that is, if I could explain that from a science perspective, and then I'll explain it from a meditation perspective, if that's okay. That's what we call an emotional release. So it's kind of like this. Sometimes we don't know why we do what we do. And so, as I was telling Teresa earlier on, is that we feel the way we feel or do what we do is not because we're bad or weak or we don't know what to do. It's because of your physiological state predicts your emotions and behaviors. So sometimes when we have a lot of stuff going on, I've actually experienced that, just to let you know, Ken, when I go into longer meditations, I feel this release, and it might be a drip of tear there. You're like, I'm not, what's this about? It's because you're not controlling your breath. You're not controlling your heart rate. What I'm saying is that's your nervous system. There's a release. And sometimes, whether it's a bad feeling or good feeling, doesn't matter, but you're releasing something. So that's why it's very powerful. So it's kind of like a massage. I've had my patients basically who don't know how to process stuff emotionally with their physical pain. When they've received a massage, they actually had a flash of memory, and then all of a sudden they just kind of wept. It's kind of cool. It's your nervous system releasing. Meditation or any form of tools that Spinezone might teach you or I might teach you it's not about getting rid of thoughts. It's not about getting rid of feelings. Because when you try to fight what shows up, it actually makes the nervous system do this. You might get relief, but you'll get this. And so when you notice that you have thoughts of lots of things happening, I've got stuff to do, what the mind or nervous system is doing, it's trying to say is we got to get going because we have stuff, because I'm a responsible person. Let's do this. And so when the nervous system winds up, Anna and the rest of you, we start to get anxious. But then we think we're an anxious and weak person. No, your nervous says, based on your history, I need to make sure that we're always on top of things. So what I want you to do is use the mantra not to get rid, this is the big key message. Please do not use the mantra to get rid of thoughts and emotions. You might notice it, you'll be like, hey, that's pretty good, it went away. And then all of a sudden you do it, next time you're like, it comes on harder. So what I want you to do is the mantra is meant to keep you grounded in the present moment. And so I don't do anything fancy. And so in, out, belly rising, belly falling. You can come up with a few other ones, but let's keep it simple. The mantra is meant for you to recognize that the mind pulls you away. You're like, uh-huh. And so sometimes what I might do is I might notice, like, why is this actually telling me? Like, so just like you have homework assignment, Anna? Thank you. It's almost so kind. It's almost like Siri says, Anna, we have homework to do. Thank you, Siri. That's what it is. So our cell phones are no different than our minds in that sense. So what we need to do is we need to be able to discipline the mind in a very compassionate but organized manner. Because when this happens, you're like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to ignore it. So we heard some sound, right, when we were meditating. Yeah. And so do you notice what I said? You know, it's kind of like welcome the unwelcome. So what I want you to do, Anna, and the rest of you, when you notice thoughts getting loud, I want you to almost giggle and smile, because it's trying to get you to do something. You want to go, all right. It's like someone constantly calling and hanging up, calling like, hey, why are you not picking up? Because right now I'm eating, right now I'm meditating. There's a time for everything. So this is how you discipline the mind. So let me pause here because I've been chatting too much. Let me find out from you. Anna, does that make sense, dear? So good. And so sometimes we'll use the mantra to try to get rid of things. Please make sure you're doing it as you recognize that, yep, thank you very much. That's why I say the word thank you. Thank you for the reminder. Hit snooze and come on back to your breath, all right? You're always taking care of someone. You're always doing something. So it's really important that self-care is self-love. And I gotta tell you this is, again, hanging out with some of these gurus I've been hanging out with, and that's what they don't like to be called gurus, but they confirmed that when you actually take care of your nervous system, when you actually take care of your breath, it is probably the best mental health and physical wellness tool you can use. It is basically saying is, I care enough. And so we want to create a habit, just like Anna said earlier on, when you practice something. So if you're always running, and even I've told Dr. Kara this too, because we both have very busy schedules. I'm sure everyone else does, and Teresa too, and Lisa too, is that when you're busy, even if your mind says, I don't have time to meditate, here's what I want you to do. At that moment, I want you to teach your mind, yeah, we can. Watch this. Breath in, breath out, done. So do not let your mind put you on a leash. You are supposed to walk your mind, not your mind walk you. And the breath is just a great way to do this. So the next time, as we get into our meditation here, the next time your mind tells you something, I want you to smile like I got the game, I got it. But if you fight with the mind, you will lose. So I want you to picture this. You open the front door, open the back door, let the wind come in and out. On a side note, has anyone ever heard of the word nirvana? And does any, look at, all right, we got some scholars here.
What?
All right, nirvana, and can someone translate Pali to Latin to English? What does nirvana mean in English? Nirvana from Pali is an old like Sanskrit language. Nirvana basically means this. Nirvana means no wind. So when you translate it, it means, so they didn't have a word for busy mind. So when you have nirvana, you have less busyness in your head. And that's what the monks practice. They know it's there. The wind will blow. But if the wind is in a room and spinning, open the doors. Come if you will, stay if you will, leave if you will. Come if you will, stay if you will, leave if you will. And that's how you practice meditation. You don't fight things. So for Anna and everyone else, as we enter into this meditation, let's really focus on this. Here's the trick of this for this meditation. I want you to welcome the unwelcome. This is very key. When you fight with whatever shows up, you're going to sink into greater sense of reactivity. So if you find yourself fighting, here's a trick. I want you to go ahead and open your eyes for a few breaths, and then when you're ready and settle down, so Anna or anyone else, if your mind is going like, I gotta do this, just open your eyes, even nod your head, take a few breaths, keep doing what you're doing, the mantra, close your eyes and go back in. I want you to realize that when you do that, you're opening the door, come if you will, stay if you will, this is the wind spinning in the room, leave if you will. Cool? Let's do this. No questions? All right, let's do this. So wherever you are, go ahead and sit up always in a dignified yet comfortable position. And if you sit too much with an erect position, it signals danger. So let's be comfortable. We're not in a parochial school. We're in a school. So with that said, go ahead and just allow your eyes to gently close if you feel comfortable, and if not, have them half closed with a soft gaze about 3 or 4 feet in front of you. And as you continue to let your mind settle back into your body, sit and know that you're sitting. Feel your breath. And then scan your body and ask yourself, where do I feel the breath in the body? And just like before, ask yourself, do I feel the breath at the nose or the belly? And as you continue to focus on where you feel the sensation of the breath in the body, go ahead and reuse those mantras, those soft mental notes. If you notice the breath at the nose, quietly whisper in, out. If you notice the breath at the belly, make a soft mental whisper of belly rising, belly falling. Try turning your hands, your palms facing up. To welcome what shows up and to release what needs to be released. Just connecting with the flow and sensation of your breath. And at any point, if your mind wanders, I want you to wear a soft, gentle smile. Simply say thank you underneath your breath. And then come back to where you feel the flow and sensation of your breath. Simply begin again. Knowing when you're breathing in, knowing when you're breathing out. Just this breath in, just this breath out. Just staying with the flow and sensation. Again, should anything take you away from your breath, a thought, an emotion, a sensation, a sound, just simply acknowledge it by just nodding your head, just like a knock on a door, and come back to where you feel the breath in the body. And at some point, see if you can drop your shoulders in the next out breath. And as you drop your shoulders in the next out breath, feel that sinking, melting, letting go, releasing breath. Whether it's a thought, a sound, a noise, breathe it in and breathe it out. There's nothing else for you to do except enjoy this very present moment. This is your time. Just continue to feel that sensation. Just noticing what is there. And wherever you are, take a nice full breath in, holding at the top. And as you breathe out, gently open your eyes to sense the meditation. Hey folks, be kind to yourself as always. Practice, practice, practice. We'll see you later.